It's good. Good. So there's almost traffic to us. Let me just get a feedback. Yes. Browser. Yeah. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivanada Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivanada Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivanada Vijaya Vallabha Giridharadhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jai Jaya Radha Madhava Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivanandari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivanandari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivanandari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivanandari Solanandan Brajananda Yashodananda Ya Solananda Brajananda Ranjana Yamunastira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 And today we're on text 16. 16. 17 is the most famous verse in the Bhagavatam. Just missed it. So this is Canto 2, Chapter 3, text number 16. Maya Sikischa Bhagavan
Vasudevaya Bhagavan
Vasudeva Parayana
Vasudeva Parayana
Urugaya Gunodhara
Urugaya Gunodhara
Satam Suri Samagame
Satam Suri Samagame
Maya Sikischa Bhagavan
Vasudeva Bhagavan
Vasudeva Parayana
Vasudeva Parayana
Urugaya Gunodhara
Urugaya Gunodhara
Satam Suri Samagame
Satam Suri Samagame
Maya Sikischa Bhagavan
Vayasakisha Bhagavan
Vasudeva Parayana
Vasudeva Parayana
Urugaya Gunodhara
Urugaya Gunodhara
Satam Suri Samagame
Satam Suri Samagame
Vayasakisha Bhagavan
Vayasakisha Bhagavan
Vasudeva Parayana
Vasudeva Parayana
Gaya Gunodara
Urugaya Gunodhara
Suri Samagame
Satam Suri Samagame Vayasakisha Bhagavan
Vayasakisha Bhagavan
Vasudeva Parayana
Vasudeva Parayana
Urugaya Gunodhara
Urugaya Gunodhara
Satam Suri Samagame
Satam Suri Samagame
Vayasaki
Vayasaki
son of Vyasadeva
Sanadhyasane
Cha
Cha
also
Bhagavan
Bhagavan full in transcendental knowledge
full of transcendental knowledge
Vasudeva
Vasudeva
Lord Krishna
Lord Krishna
Parayana
Parayana
attached to
attached to
Urugaya
Urugaya
of the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna
of the personality of God as Sri Krishna
who was glorified by the greatest philosophers
is glorified by the greatest philosophers
Guna Udhara
Gunapalada
great qualities
great qualities
Satam
Satam
of the devotees
of the devotees
Shoot
Su
must have been
must have been
he as a matter of fact
as a matter of fact
Samagame
Samagame
and by the presence of
by the presence of
translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Sukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, was also full in transcendental knowledge and was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, son of Vasudeva. So there must have been discussion of Lord Krishna, who was glorified by great philosophers and in the company of great devotees. The word satam is very significant and important in this verse. Satam means the pure devotees who have no other desire than to serve the Lord. Only in the association of such devotees are the transcendental glories of Lord Krishna properly discussed. It is said by the Lord that his topics are full of spiritual significance, and once one properly hears about him in the association of the Satam, certainly one senses the great potency, and so automatically attains the devotional stage of life. As already described, Maharaj Parikshit was a great devotee of the Lord from his very birth. And so was Sukadeva Goswami. Although Sukadeva Goswami, he was, it's an amazing, because he was an impersonalist. And upon hearing about Krishna and Srimad Bhagavatam, then he became a devotee. It's amazing, he became a great devotee. Such a great devotee, he spoke, in front of all these great sages, amazing. Just so that can have just that all of a sudden. It's like one devotee asked Prabhupada, how long does it take to become a pure devotee? And what did Prabhupada say? In a moment. In a moment we can become a pure devotee. What was the example? Kadvanga. Kadvanga, who was fighting through demigods for a long time. And they gave him benedictions. And he asked how long he had to live. And you just have a moment. See, it was Kadvanga. Both of them were on the same level, although it appeared that Maharaj Parikshit was a great king accustomed to royal facilities, whereas Sukadeva Goswami was a typical renouncer of the world, so much so that he did not even put a cloth on his body. There's the pastime when he finally did come out of the womb. He didn't want to come out of the womb because that's too much Maya. He wouldn't come. He didn't come out. So what happened? How did he come out? Krishna had to come and say, "It's okay. Don't worry. I'll protect you." He came out. He ran away, took sannyas immediately. Didn't waste any time. So he's running. He's naked, and there's ladies bathing, and they didn't even cover themselves. They just he didn't even go by. Just. And then, but then when Vyasadeva, he's running after his son. Hey, wait a second. There's a lot of things you got to do, And he's just running away. But when the ladies saw Vyasadeva, it was another pure devotee, Vyasadeva. Then they covered themselves because he just finished. Whereas Sukadeva Goswami, he didn't know the difference between a boy and a girl. It's like little children, up to 5 years. They don't know the difference between a boy and a girl. It's like there was one instance where a child asked the father, "Daddy, were you a girl or a boy when you were young?" And I was a boy. Of course, nowadays things change. Now they can actually ask that. Superficially, Maharaj Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami might seem to be opposites, but basically, they were both unalloyed, pure devotees of the Lord. When such devotees are assembled together, there can be no topic save a discussion of the qualities of the Lord, or Bhakti Yoga. In the Bhagavad Gita also, when there were talks between the Lord and his devotee Arjuna, there could not be any topic other than Bhakti Yoga. However, the mundane scholars may speculate on it in their own ways. Prabhupada said there's about 640 translations of the Bhagavad Gita, and none of them got it right. Amazing. It's clear, but they couldn't get it right until Prabhupada came. The use of the word cha after Vayasaki suggests, according to Srila Jiva Goswami, that both Sukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit were on the same category, settled long before, although one was playing the part of master and the other the disciple. Since Lord Krishna is the center of the topics, the word Vasudeva Parayana, or devotee of Vasudeva, suggests devotee of Lord Krishna, a common aim. Although there were many others who assembled at the place where Mahaprabhu was fasting, the natural conclusion is that there was no topic other than glorification of Lord Krishna, because the principal speaker was Sukadeva Goswami and the chief audience was Maharaj Pariksit. So Srimad Bhagavatam, as it was spoken and heard by two principal devotees of the Lord, is only for the glorification of the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Om Jnanatamanandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshami Tasmaya Shri Mukam Kotuvachalam Pandamana Vete Gurin Vitkikataram Shigarundinataranam Vanchakalpa Tribhisya Vipasidhya Paditanam Pavnevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasani Gaura Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama. Here in this verse, it's mentioned that Sukadeva Goswami was full in transcendental knowledge. And we have a whole chapter in the Bhagavad Gita, transcendental knowledge. There's a lot of very valuable knowledge in the Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna calls us the transcendental knowledge. And many very important verses are in this fourth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. The compassion of Krishna is there. Yada yada hidharmasya granibhavati bharata abhyutana adharmasya tadatmano sujamji. Whenever and wherever there's a predominant rise of religion and a decline in religious practice, at that time it descends. So one might think, well, this should be a pretty good time because it's so degraded. So he has fun. Chaitanya. But it's been some time since he was here. But then also he comes in the form of the Shaktivesh avatar, who was just recently Shivapal. And we don't know when the next Shaktivesh avatar will come. Wouldn't it be interesting if one is already here? Even very advanced devotees couldn't understand that Prabhupada was a Shaktivesh avatar. And even will criticize. Interesting. So, yeah, there was a period when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, they were all on the planet at the same time. Special time. So this is the kindness of Krishna, that he comes, that he sends his devotees to help conditioned souls. And devotees of the Lord who are absorbing this knowledge, they also come to understand the importance of giving this knowledge out to others. Because throughout Prabhupada's books, he's expressing the importance of preaching, of giving this knowledge to others. So it's just a natural, for anybody that's sincere, and a natural result of reading Prabhupada's books. I can't keep this out. Like Devi Shakti, when she was reading this, she read the Bhagavad Gita and she was just thinking, this knowledge, I gotta give it out. She had never met her devotee, but just thinking, I gotta let people know about it. It's amazing. It's amazing. And then, of course, she met devotees through transcendental arrangement. And then she found out about book distribution, of course, immediately. She started distributing books. And Prabhupada was so pleased with her. I call her the queen of book distribution, because she's so absorbed in book distribution. Made so many devotees. And this is a result. And by people receiving this knowledge, they, some fortunate souls understand. This is very valuable. I met one person just yesterday. Yeah, he was a Westerner. He was reading the Bhagavad Gita, and he said, how in the last chapter, Sanjaya, he was reading it, and tears were coming to his eyes. He was in ecstasy. He said, "This is how I felt from reading the Bhagavad Gita. I was just so happy. It brought tears." So there's some sincere people out there that will receive Prabhupada's books and, wow, this is it. But of course, he gave a very nice. He wouldn't take the book though. He said, "No, I got all the books. But I want to give it to support you what you're doing." So there's people out there that are very appreciative. So yeah, we just have to give out the mercy. And sometimes it happens that we distribute a book to someone, and they don't read it, but they take it to their home and they put it in their bookshelf. There was one instance of a devotee who was visiting his grandmother. And he was, what am I going to do here? He was looking through the bookshelf and he found a Bhagavad Gita. And he took it down and he was reading it. And he's like, "Wow, this is pretty amazing." And he asked his grandmother, "Grandmother, where did you get this book?" She looked at it. He said, "I have no idea. Well, I've never seen that book before." So the book distribution is very mysterious. You don't know, because the books are actually their personalities. It's Krishna. Therefore, when the book falls to the ground, we do it in respect. It's actually Krishna. It's like some people would say to Prabhupada, Arjuna was so fortunate because Krishna personally was there speaking the Bhagavad Gita to him. We're not so fortunate. Prabhupada said, no. Just by reading the Bhagavad Gita, it's just like Krishna is right there speaking to you. So it's Krishna. It's Krishna. And this is Sukadeva Goswami. And then we have the Uddhava Gita. Again, Krishna is speaking. So Krishna's speaking. And if we have good ears, if we hear nicely, we don't have too much wax in our ears, then we can hear nicely. And also get the same benefit as Prigid Maharaj received. If we hear nicely, it's all about hearing attentively. So we know chanting our japa attentively is so important. One of the big offenses is inattentive. So also inattentive hearing is also it's not good for our spiritual growth. So we have to hear again and again for a long time, and then hopefully it'll sink in. So Krishna, he comes to deliver the fallen souls and to annihilate the demons, as well as he comes to give this knowledge. This is what Krishna did when he left us the Bhagavad Gita. That was the most valuable thing, leaving us the Bhagavad Gita, because this Bhagavad Gita, it's going to be read for thousands of years, and who knows how many thousand. Of course, there's a 10,000 year period, the golden era, but the Bhagavad Gita will be continued reading after that. Hopefully, Prabhupada will be the most prominent. So this is the kindness of Krishna, and this helps us. hearing this knowledge helps us to become attached to Krishna. He says, Vita Ragabhaya Kroda, Manmaya Mam Pashata, Bhavo Jnana Tapasana, Putam Bhavanam. He says, being freed from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in it. Many, many persons have become purified by knowledge of it. That's attainment. So, be freed from attachment. So, people in this world are attached to so many things, so many material things. They're attached to. What are people mostly attached to? Sense gratification. Money. Not dhanam. Not dhanam. This is what people, this is, money is the honey. So with money, you get sense gratification. With no money, how much sense gratification? It'll be a pretty dry life for a materialistic person. No money. So they want money for sense gratification. There's one instance where one devotee, he was, he preaches in India, and they're building a temple. What's his name in Salem? Anyway, he's a very, very nice devotee. And so they were, him and about 6 others, they were in, I think, Bangalore, they were collecting for the temple. And they all gave him the money, he was the temple president, so he had money, rupees filled up. So there, for some reason, they were visiting the Swami Ryan. And during the conversation, they said, yeah, we never touch money. So he said, yeah, we never touch money. You got hope, you got money coming flying out of your pocket. What do you mean? This is not money, it's Lakshmi. We're using this to build a temple for Krishna. This is not money. We don't touch money. Only Lakshmi. Oh, okay. So yeah, this is what we're using is not money. Everything that we use is used in the service of Krishna. So it's not money. People misuse money so much. But devotee Prabhupada said, we do not misuse 1/4, only for the service of Krishna. And money can be, get too much, it can be dangerous. It can be dangerous. And therefore, Queen Kunti, she says that you're very easily approached, except for those persons who are desirous of opulence, Janmaisvarya, high birth, Aisvarya, opulence, money, Janmaisvarya, Shuddha, education, free beauty. People have these things, it's very difficult. It's like we don't have many wealthy people joining our society. Not many, I only know of one, Ambarish. But it's very difficult. It's like, what did Jesus said? That it's more difficult for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God than it is for a camel to go through the eye of a beast. And there was one person he wanted to join Jesus. But what should I do? What should I do? He said, give all your wealth to the poor. Give all my wealth. Everything that my father's first, but just give it away. And he couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. But this is something people are very attached to. And what else are people attached to? Ladana, followers, fame, women. People are very attached to women. The main attachment, actually. But what's interesting is that Krishna says, not to touch the bhavat face, bandhas chanya pasamit. He says, of all types of suffering, due to material attachment, none is greater than the suffering that a man experiences in association with a woman, or also that a woman experiences in association with a woman. Become very attached. But they're so attached to it. This is what causes the most suffering. Like I have a friend, he got married, and he was very attached. Devoted. But then eventually, he became very detached. And she was also very attached in the beginning. She also became very detached. Because as we get closer to, as conditioned souls, get closer and closer to conditioned souls, you see things you didn't see before. Right? We've all had the experience. Anybody that's had association, you're Indian, you never associate with women. It's still there. The culture is still there. You can't, even in India, still, villages, and some boy goes up and starts talking to a lady. The police say, "Hey, what are you doing?" Isn't it? It's still like that. Not in Bombay or anything. It's not the big city. Yeah, that's okay. But the villages, it's still like that. You can't just, man, can't just talk to a woman. Yeah, what are you doing? So in the beginning, it's so nice, but then eventually you start seeing more and more things. Well, I didn't see that before. I didn't know he was like that or she was like that. Yeah. But it's completely different. Krishna. The closer we get to Krishna, I didn't know we had that wonderful father. Wow, there's another beautiful life. Wow. You just get more and more amazed as we get closer to Krishna, and therefore become more and more attached to Krishna. Therefore, it's so recommended to hear more, more about Krishna. Then we become more and more attached. Was it where attention goes? Affection flows, brother?
Energy.
No, he changed it. You weren't there, remember? Where attention goes, affection follows. Where attention, he changed it. You weren't there when he did. Yeah. The Sunday News Club. Where attention goes, affection follows. So if our attention is there more and more to Krishna, then affection will grow. Now people, the affection that should be going to Krishna is going to so many things. Dogs. There's people are so attached to dogs. It's amazing. Like I know one person in San Diego, a nice guy. His name's Eric, and he started coming around practicing Krishna consciousness, and he had a dog. He's very attached to it. The dog died. He got another dog. He named that dog Eric. Eric the seventh. His name is Eric. He named Eric. So attached. Isn't that? That's the way it is in America. Your dog dies. Next day you get another dog. Gotta have a dog, isn't it? It's like it's amazing. I don't know. So the affection that should be going to Krishna is going to dogs, cats, lions, something, but sometimes they have these dangerous pets, right? Isn't it? Tigers, and sometimes they attack, but not very intelligent. To have such a carnivore pet, So best to be attached to Krishna. So not dhanam, not janam, nasundring, kavitung bhav jagadisha kamya. So Lord Chaitanya says, I don't want wealth. I don't want a beautiful woman. I don't want followers. Well, then what do you want? I mean, this is what everybody wants. What do you want? Birth after birth. I just want to serve Krishna. He doesn't want liberation. He just wants to serve Krishna. So this verse, Krishna, he says that Vita Raga Bhaya. So people are so afraid. They're afraid. What are people most afraid of? Death. Afraid of death. There's so many medicines people are taking to avoid disease, right? To avoid death. And they have so many types of insurance. And so many ways to avoid. It's like all the cars, they have these, of course you have your seat belts. And now they have these what do they call it?
Airbags.
Airbags. But you know something? A lot of babies have died because it goes off, and they hit something, it goes off. And the babies are just little kids, so they suffocate. Little baby killers. Believe it or not, yeah, babies die. So people are afraid of death. But devotees aren't afraid of death. A real devotee is not afraid of death. There was that person that the Dichi Muni. When Indra, he wanted some help fighting the demons. And what was it? The Lord said, you just go to the Dichi Muni and you just ask for his bones. Like you go on book to say, mister, can you just give me your bones? It's a good cause, yeah. Good karma, yeah. You get some good result, yeah. So that's pretty much what he did. He had teaching what he did. Can you give us your bones? Well, that's just, come on, you want me to take my bones? I mean, that doesn't seem like a very good thing to do, give you my bones. He just wanted to hear the preaching. He said, no, it's good. You know, we're fighting the demons, and the Lord said, just ask you for your bones, and you like to give donations, and okay. So he left his body, and they took his bones. That's how he got thunderbolt. His bones. So Vitaraga Bhaya, and people are afraid of death. What else are they afraid of? Losing their spouse,
Wealth.
losing wealth. Yeah, they have banks. Put their wealth in banks, they can secure their
Prestige.
prestige, losing their prestige.
Position. Job.
Yeah, yeah. People, there was one, I think it was in Verizon, 13,000 people were laid off. So people, there's that fear, losing their job. And then so many people, now they're looking for jobs, right? But what is a devotee afraid of?
Patient. Falling back into animal species.
Yeah, and also forgetting Krishna. Yeah, that's our golden rule. Smartavya sadatana Vishnu Vishvatana. Always remember and never forget Krishna. Keep the transcendental vibration going. This is the greatest fear. Trying to always, in whatever way we can, always trying to remember Krishna. Hearing his name, hearing his pastimes, discussion about Krishna. In this way, we get purified. Vitaragabhaya krodha, anger. People are very angry. Like that road rage, still about 1,000 people a year die from road rage. Anger. It's crazy. And anger comes from lust. Jayato Visyam Pumsam Sangasta Sikujaya Sangat Sindeti Kalam Vijaya. Krodha Brahmas Samoha Smriti Driva Smriti Brahmsad Bhinasa Bhinasa Punishita. While contemplating the objects of the senses, one develops attachment for them. From such attachment, lust develops. From lust, anger. From anger, delusion of memory, and the memory is lost. When memories go, the intelligence is lost. When the intelligence is lost, one falls down again. So it begins with contemplation. Contemplate. We gotta stop it at the root, Don't complicate it. Yeah, it is complicated also. Don't contemplate. You should actually understand that that these bodies were actually dead. Prabhupada was speaking about this and he said, yeah, everybody knows the body is dead. Here's a pure devotee speaking, because the pure devotee thinks, everybody thinks the way they think. They think, and they're thinking that others are thinking the same as them. What do they call that? Atmanavateja. People are thinking that others are thinking like them. So Prabhupada's a pure devotee who thinks others are thinking like him. Everybody knows the body is dead, but nobody does. Everybody thinking that the body is alive. This is it. Body died, that's it. So this is the pure devotee. So, but that's the reality. These bodies are dead. Like I was distributing books yesterday, and I approached someone, and he said, no, I'm good. I said, but you can be better. He said, no, I'm great. I'm as good right now as I could ever be. I'm great. Thanks for that. In this bodily conception of life. We'll be great when we understand how small we are, how great Krishna is. How small we are, and how great Krishna is. As long as we have this false ego, this false understanding, that we're this body and I'm something special, I'm something great. Very difficult to hear. Very difficult to hear. Someone has such pride. Therefore, in the beginning of the spiritual life, one has to accept, I don't know anything. It's like Socrates, they're claiming that he's so intelligent. And he said, no, I'll prove to you I'm not because they were saying he's the most intelligent. And he was going out and talking to people, and everybody was speculating about this, and speculating about this, and speculating about that. And Socrates, he was humble. He said, well, what do I know? But all these people are just speculating. He said, well, actually, no, maybe you're right, because these people don't know what they're talking about, but they think they know. But I'm accepting I don't know. Humility. Although he knew so much, he was like the father of philosophy. And just Prabhupada was so fond of him just by his intelligence. He became a realized soul. He was completely self-realized to the point where the leaders there, they wanted to kill him. And his disciples said, Socrates, you could leave. You don't have to die. He said, no, if they want to kill me, all right. I'm not going to die anyway. And therefore they said, so what do you want? You want to be burned or buried? What do you want? You'll have to catch me. Because he knew beyond a shadow of doubt, I'm going to continue on. Amazing personality. No books, no teacher, no nothing, just very intelligent. So, Krishna is known as Diyampati. Krishna gave him that intelligence. Diyampati means the Lord of intelligence. So the more we connect to Krishna, the more Krishna gives us intelligence. And we understand. We get realization. I'm not this body, I'm the soul, I'm part of Krishna. Krishna is great. I'm small. Prabhupada said that the that the epitome, the highest level of humility will be found in a pure devotee. Because he understands the greatness of Krishna. He understands, I'm just a little soul. And everybody is a little soul. Be a nice level to come to. Just to fully understand. Of course, you can't fully understand Krishna. I was just listening, Prabhupada said that even Krishna doesn't understand his greatness. Because he's always explained. So we can understand Krishna to some degree. Just like we read Prabhupada's books and we understood, oh, Krishna is great. So there's some understanding. The more we practice, the more we get full understanding, or some level of understanding. So this verse is very nice. Because at the end, Krishna, he says, being free from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in many persons have become purified by knowledge of me, and have come to me. So Krishna's encouraging us. Many persons have become purified by knowledge of me, and they've come to me. So this is something to look forward to. We can go back to Krishna. Many persons. I'll tell you an interesting story. Some of you might have heard this, some not, but it's an amazing story. In Miami, there was a doctor who was very favorable. He got initiated, actually, Patita Pavana. And his wife, they were coming to the temple. The wife also was very devotional. They were a very nice couple. But she got cancer at one point. And some of us devotees, we would go to their home maybe 3 times a week in the evening, just to encourage them to do some bhajan. So we were there one night, and it looked like she was going to pass away that night. But we had to get back. And that night, late in the night, she looked at her husband and she said, Krishna, he's standing in front of me and he's calling me. But you're my husband. Should I go? He said, yeah, go. Go. So she closed her eyes and went back home. So it's happening. There's so many devotees are going to Vrindavan, they're leaving body in their body in Vrindavan and Mayapur, back home. But even here in the West, it's happening. So there's examples. Just have to carry on, and Krishna will give his mercy, and we'll go back home, back together. So, is there any question or comment or reflection? Yes.
So I really like the point about contrast between attachment to another conditioned soul and to Krishna. So as we get closer to another conditioned soul, we develop more of their not so admirable qualities. So we develop that detachment or distaste. On the other hand, when we come closer to Krishna, we understand more of his qualities. We get more and more attached. And that's what Shaunaka is saying in this verse. He's speaking Gunodhara, that Krishna is a ocean of qualities. They must have discussed many qualities of Krishna. Please tell us more. Please tell us more. There's so much they are getting attached. Although Shukdev has already answered in the first 2 chapters, he's done with answering the Parikshit Maharaj, but Shaunak is not said. I mean, of course, this is a different conversation, but Shaunaka is asking Sutta, what did they discuss more? So it's so nice. Your point is so relevant. What is being discussed?
Krishna is unlimited.
Yeah.
Wow. So there's a lot to look forward to. Seeing all the different qualities of Krishna unfolding,
Mm.
unlimited. But what is the quality that stands out the most? As it's, yeah, he doesn't like to see his parts and parcels suffering, so he comes to try to help us. Although most of us are very stubborn. Yeah.
That line we get verse that you put the pizza right on that. It seems like that verse is talking about like jnana yoga, being purified by knowledge, like Krishna. So how do we understand that in the Krishna again, or bhakti? Where does that come in? If I'm correct.
Say it again.
It seems like that verse where Krishna says, many have become purified by knowledge of me, about me. It sounds like he's talking about jnana yoga. Is that true? How do we understand it?
Purified by it. Yeah.
Could you repeat the question for online?
Huh?
Could you repeat?
Oh, here. Repeat the question.
In the Bhagavad Gita verse that starts Vita Raga Bodha, Krishna says that many who have been freed from these things and purified by knowledge of me, they come back to me. So my question is, it seems like Krishna is speaking about jnana yoga in that verse. And how can we understand it as devotees? How do we put bhakti, and we engage in bhakti?
Well, the more we get knowledge of Krishna, the more we become purified of material knowledge and the like Gyan, they want to go to the Brahma Jyoti is the goal of Gyan. But one gets free of that also as one grows in bhakti. I don't know if that addresses your question.
Is it that only by becoming purified by knowledge we can attain Krishna? It seems like that's what he's saying in that verse, right?
Uh-huh. So actually, yeah, as you mentioned, it's by bhakti, but in the beginning, we need knowledge. Just like we get the Bhagavad Gita, we got the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, and then then you become detached just by reading the Bhagavad Gita. You get that knowledge, and then eventually you get the knowledge, then understand. Then eventually understand. Oh, bhakti is the goal. So that knowledge is preliminary. It gives some attraction. Then you understand what is this all this material life. That's not so attractive. You get knowledge of the soul. What will this material knowledge and this material activities, how will that benefit? Because you get the knowledge of the soul, then eventually you get knowledge of the Supreme Soul. So then the bhakti comes in. So isn't knowledge in the beginning, all of us, we got the knowledge first. And then now we understand that bhakti is the highest. Okay.
Yeah, that answers.
Okay. Yeah, Prabhu.
I'm learning about that same question. Is it like about like hearing is the process of devotional service?
Yeah. Yeah. So from hearing we get the knowledge. And then eventually we get the understanding that bhakti is the highest goal. But yeah, again, knowledge is so important. Therefore, we get so much knowledge. We get Srimad Bhagavatam. We get the Bhagavad Gita. We get so many Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's like Lord Chaitanya, he gave the knowledge to Sarvam Bhattacharya, who was so knowledgeable. There was no bhakti. But then Lord Chaitanya gave him the real knowledge, and then he understood, oh, bhakti is the goal. Okay? Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vaishnava ability.
Thank you for joining, dear Sadhguru Prabhu. Have a wonderful day.